Ignition's default authentication profile is one that's stored internally. And to get into that and modify it, all we have to do is go to the Ignition Gateway webpage, into the Configure section here, and then down under Security to Users Roles. So here we can see we have two, the default authentication source and then the OPC UA module. The OPC UA module is used for the OPC UA module, so we're going to leave that alone for now. But under default, if you go over to the right hand side, you can see that there's a way to manage the existing users. If I click on that, then you can see here we have our users and our roles. Right? We have one admin username with the administrator role. And to add more, all I have to do is go into the roles section here, and I can click on add a role. And I'm going to add a new one called operator. And then I'll click the add role button here, and now we have a second role. If we go back to our users here, then you can see we have our admin with the administrator role, and I can add another user similarly. Here I'm going to create one called Opper, give it some password, and then you can give it more information about the users, like first name, last name, what schedule they're using, all that sort of stuff, but I'll just leave all that blank for now. Really what's important is I want my Opper user to have the operator role. So I'm going to check the operator checkbox here and scroll down to the bottom and choose Add User. Alright, so now I have two of them, admin and Opper, and the Opper has the operator role. If I wanted to, I could go back into my admin and edit that. And I'm going to scroll down a little bit here. So now you can see our roles are administrator and operator are possible. I'll check the operator one and then hit Save Changes. And so now I have an admin that has both roles. Now there's also a way to do this inside the designer or in the client, but in order for that to be an option, we have to first go into the gateway settings here, and then if we scroll down just a little bit, you'll see that there's a checkbox here, the Allow User Admin. Right, so this says that it allows the administration of the gateway system user source. Right? So since we're using the same authentication source for both the gateway and our client, we have to have this checked in order for the designer to be allowed to make modifications to it. So I'll check that and go down to the bottom here and hit Save. All right, and now that that's updated, I can go to my client here and excuse me, to my designer, and you can see I already have a window open, and I've gone down to the admin component palette, and we have this user management component here. All right, so now I can drop this guy on the screen, and you can see here we have our admin and our Opper users, and we have our administrator and operator roles. So now if I put this designer into preview mode, I can go into this component and say add another user, and then I'm going to add a username, call it guest, give it a password, right? And then you can optionally give it different name, schedule, language, note, information, even some contact info, all the same stuff that you saw on the other screen. Then over on the right hand side here we've got our roles. Now I could give it administrator or operator or both, but I'm going to choose to do neither of them. That means that every time the guest logs in, if there is some security set on our components or a client or on anything, then this guest user won't be able to use that. So I'm just going to click the Save button, and then that'll create our new guest user. All right, and there's our guest. Now this component actually has a lot of stuff going for it. You can take a look into the property editor to see what's available for it, but most notably the mode here, this one allows us to edit all of our users, just the currently logged in user, or some single user based on whatever username you've put in here. Right, so if I say edit current, then I'm logged into the designer's admin, so admin's all that I can do. And whether or not you can change the username or the password or the roles is based on the settings of these properties.